Hi, welcome to my channel, Grit, Grind and Gratitude, where we talk to micro entrepreneurs about their journey of becoming a micro entrepreneur and walking that path. Grit, Grind and Gratitude shares stories of resilience, of purpose, and values-led entrepreneurs who are shaping their futures boldly. Hi, Simone. Welcome to Grit, Grind and Gratitude. Thank you so much for agreeing to be our guest today and bringing your wisdom to the world and to our listeners.
Thank you so much, Dips. It's such an honor to be asked to be here, really, and also just to see you again.
Yeah, I remember getting introduced to you in South Africa and you bringing flow into my life. But I don't want to start there. I want you to introduce yourself to the world as you would like people to know you.
Thank you. So hi, everyone, to our listeners. I'm Simone Berger, and I'm the founder of Univation. I title myself as a behavioral specialist and coach, and I've been accredited as a coach for over 16 years. I support clients, teams, brands in helping them to be more future fit. And flow was one of those ways because it really helps us to meet the uncertainties, to surf the unpredictable waves of life, etc. So that's how it all links together.
Beautiful, beautiful. Take us through your journey of starting Univation. I know you were at the South African Broadcasting Corporation, SABC. And
Yes.
So take us through a bit of your professional journey and then how was Univation born and what does Univation do?
Okay. So Univation was born in 2012 and I was at SABC at the time, you're right. I was heading up on air for SABC One. Incredible experience for me. And at the time I was feeling this sort of fire or ignition in myself to wanting to go my own way. And it was actually through a colleague of mine at the time that suggested that I do that. And of course it was planning. It wasn't just cutting off and going through and activating a business and here we go. It took about 2 years of planning to finally leave the corporate or leave the job and move into my own business. And it started out, actually, Univation started out as me teaching corporate employees in the art of creative thinking. That was a subject I was highly passionate about. And funny enough, I then, through my research, also found that creative thinking and flow work together. To be able to really open the mind, to be present, to be focused, to be able to release the sabotages that keep us limited in our thinking.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tell us, delve a little more deeper into the 2 years of planning. What went in there? What kind of planning did you do for the 2 years before you took the final plunge?
Okay. Well, it's a funny story actually, because as part of SABC as an employee, and especially because I was a senior manager, you get given opportunities to do skills and learnerships there. And one of them was to do a learning in presentation skills. And part of our exercise in that course was to choose a subject that we were most passionate about and to present that to our class. And I chose creative thinking. And when I presented it, that's when my colleagues said, wow, you should take that into the world. So I took that presentation and I started to unpack that, and I researched, and I obviously did the reading and the upskilling to feel ready. Second to that though, was obviously making sure I had a financial nest. And I've always been really good at saving money. I see myself as kind of a self-preservation type, so I know how to handle money. I think that's always worked in my favor, especially, of course, when you have a big why, which I did in this case. And thirdly, I had a coach that I was seeing at the time, and she was fantastic. And she really made me see that I could use my time left at SABC, because as you know, when you're wanting to be somewhere else other than where you are, it can create suffering. And so the more I wanted to be entrepreneurial and start this business, and knowing that I wasn't ready and there yet, made me almost want to almost resign mentally and emotionally from the job I was doing now. And she shifted that for me. And she helped me to use SABC and my team at the time, I was managing 12 people, to really bring the creative thinking and the tools that I was wanting to teach others into the organization where I was at SABC. So that was a beautiful curve where I was learning how to experiment and pilot, you could say, the product that I wanted to bring into the world. So yes, that was what happened during those 2 years. And one more thing I wanted to share actually is I had a mentor at the time, and she said something to me that I'll never forget. Two things actually. The one was, she said, "Simone, turn your life into an experiment, and then you'll never ever be afraid to fail." The second thing she said is, when the suffering of like going and leaving and doing what you know you need to do becomes less than the suffering of staying, you'll know when it's time to go. And so it's a nice thing to know, because often we stay in the comfort zone because even though it brings suffering or pain, it feels somehow safer than the pain of moving into the unknown. And so that pain needs to balance out and even, shift for us to really feel like, okay, I'm ready.
Beautiful, beautiful learning. So financially saving up, being financially wise, taking the project into the world in soft experiments, having a coach to shift your mindset, and having a mentor. Wow. Just like beautiful places to think from before you start a business. Tell us, what does Univation do?
So Univation, as I mentioned, started off with the creative thinking and innovation skill set. And from there started to expand. The more I realized that creative thinking and innovation actually involves so much. And so now it's actually under the umbrella of future fit skills. I showcase and support and facilitate and coach people in understanding how to be ready for the future. And ironically, the only way to create to be ready for the future is to create here and now, to be present. And for that, there are tools that we can use and practice and cultivate, such as curiosity and agility, especially, polycrisis kind of agility, and how to sell ourselves like a story. So storytelling. There are so many skills that we can learn in this space. And of course, flow has always been my absolute top favorite, which is why I built out a separate course for that. And that actually has such a different background in how that came about, which is very synchronistic, of course, as it should be. So that's Univation, is future fit skills and supporting people to feel ready for the future by learning how to focus and be productive now.
Very nice, very nice. Tell me, flow always excites me, because I underwent the flow experiment myself and it was massively, I enjoyed it. Flow is a concept that was started by a Czech guy long back. Yeah, yes. But not many people understand flow. So please explain flow to people. And yes. What is the flow experiment? How is the flow experiment designed?
Okay. So what's interesting, let me start with the Czech psychologist. His name was Csikszentmihalyi. I can never say his name correctly, but he was the father of flow, so to speak. And he focused on flow in a beautiful way. But unfortunately, what happened in the Western culture is that, the likes of Silicon Valley, and biohackers, they wanted to be in flow 100% of the time. And unfortunately, we can't force our bodies to be in flow to that degree. And flow actually works in a 4-part cycle. And the feeling of feeling high and superhuman and focused and hyper-productive, that's only one part of 4 parts. And the other three parts are just as important. So to define flow, it isn't just that one part. To me, flow is the motion of life. And when we are able to really accept life the way it is, even if it's showing up as we might define as bad or challenging, or we might feel fatigued and really overwhelmed one day and different the next day, it's about really being okay with what is. And so when I teach my students about flow, it's about not just focusing on the superhuman side. It's about focusing on really being okay with being human as well, and being able to allow life to work with us so that we can surrender, we can release the sabotages that keep us limited, and we can just co-create.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you used to offer the flow experiment as an 8-week program. You used to build cohorts. Tell us more the direction of the flow, how it has gone, how it is now on Udemy. Yeah, tell us a bit about that.
So let me start with, the flow launched in 2018. And the flow experiment was a way for me to teach people how to activate flow. And at the time, I launched it as an 8-week program. And I've done that now every year since 2018. In fact, I launched it officially, you could say, as an 8-week course during lockdown in 2020. The first 2 years was just ad hoc experimentation with the product. But I realized during those years, until I would say end of last year, that 8 weeks in a course is great if you want to teach somebody to understand something mentally. It's a conceptual way of upskilling ourselves. And I noticed that when I would meet with ex-students, they knew the principles, they could hash back and tell me what they've learned. But when I asked them how life was, they still felt like they were overwhelmed and finding it difficult to serve these unpredictable ways of life. So this year, I've decided to launch it as more of a body integration experiment. So it's a 9-month process, and which I quite like, 9 months of birthing this beautiful new way of being, so that we're learning on an experiential level, on a cellular level. We're using the manure and the challenges of everyday life, everyday scenarios, to really experiment and pilot these tools, as opposed to just knowing them within our minds. Yeah.
Great, great. Tell us, what have been your high points of running Univation in its entirety, including the flow experiment? What have been your wow moments in that journey?
I would say the wow moments for me was putting the content together. That was the first wow, because it felt completely channeled at some point. When the world was in lockdown, I was sitting on my bed with a laptop, and this information was just coming, and I was typing it through, and it was incredible, the flow, excuse the pun, that happened in the creation of the course. The other wow moments always for me is, meeting the people that I get to teach, because they teach me as much as I teach them, and many of them have become good friends, and I just feel so privileged to be able to just be in a gathering, in a cohort with people who are all there for the same reason. And I realized very quickly that I'm not the guru here. There's no guru here. I'm just almost a vehicle, showcasing what I've learned. And as I said, they were teaching me as much as I was teaching them. So I would say those were the biggest wow moments. And I think also one more was leaving corporate to finally launch into the flow experiment as a full-time job. That happened finally in 2018. I was at Celsi. I was in an executive role job, managing about 9 or 10 people. I was burnt out. I was overwhelmed, under pressure, and decided to take a 3-month sabbatical to just focus on maybe writing a book. That's how it started. And 3 months turned to 12 months. And from that was this course that birthed.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Tell me about your challenges because I'm sure the challenges also came in abundance, as a micro entrepreneur.
Yes.
There are enough challenges that we deal with in our regular lives.
100%. I mean, it's so interesting, as much as I know mentally that challenges always bring gifts and opportunities, when you're in it, it's hard, it's difficult to navigate. And for me, honestly, Dips, I think my number one challenge was my inner critic. I can't tell you how often that little voice in my head told me I didn't deserve this. It created imposter syndrome. I would question my abilities. And many times I was on the brink of pressing the button to kill a dream. But I moved on and I kept taking one step at a time, to the point where the week of launching my Flow Experiment course, I was having nightmares and really dealing with anxiety. But I just knew somewhere inside of me that this course needed to happen. And I focused on that, the bigger why. And the moment I launched it, the inner voice dissolved. So that was really interesting. It's almost like before, jumping off the mountain, it's going to feel like, what are we doing? This is crazy. But the moment we jump, the support comes. And I really did feel that. Number two, I would say the challenge for me was I learned a technique called an arbitrage technique, that when you launch a course, you first sell spaces to the course. You first sell the course to people, then you create the content. And I thought this was crazy to start, even though I had an idea of what the content would be, because I'd spent many years researching and putting the themes together. I didn't have a course when I was selling the course. And the first time I launched, I had 12 people who had bought into the course. And from week one, I had to start creating the content. And this actually came from my mentor at the time. And I was so grateful for it, because it helps us to not create a product that obviously hasn't been tested in the market. You only want to bring the product once you know it actually is wanted. But it was so exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. So I would say that was definitely my second biggest challenge. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Arbitrage technique, yeah?
Arbitrage. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, but then, this is a world and the times, the pace is so fast that people recommend bring a product, fail fast, and then, take it back again with revisions, because there is nothing called a perfect product.
No.
It's where the rubber meets the ground that you know where your product is worthy of being bought in.
Yes.
Yes.
And to add to that, Dips, you're so right, is that, even if the product, stays more or less the same, the way that we market it shifts all the time.
Yeah.
Because, customers' needs are changing every single day. So we've got to almost repackage what we're offering all the time.
That is so true. That is so true. So tell me, we come to our final question with you.
Yeah.
So we've talked about your journey, your high points, your challenges. Now, if you look back on all of that, what will be your advice to our listeners who are sitting on the fence, thinking and deliberating on their passion project, but not, finding the courage to jump, or people who have started off very new but are obviously where you were when you started off? So what would be your words of wisdom for them?
Gosh, I think the biggest thing I would say, and this is advice I would have given myself more of, is don't wait until you're ready. Start with tiny noticeable things every single day, every single week, every single month. Keep the job you're in, keep the safety, and work on the product or the business that you're wanting to work on. And really practice patience, because timing is not in our control. We can focus on the what we want to do, we can focus on the why we want to do it, but the how and the when, that's God's business. So we have to make sure that we're doing our part, and then the co-creation can happen. I would say that's definitely one. I think the second thing for me is testing the market and educating the market. I'll give you an example. When I first wanted to launch Flow in 2018, very few people knew what Flow was. Very few people cared about what Flow was. And I was really struggling to get people to sign up to anything I was offering them. 2020 happens, lockdown, COVID, the world's a mess, and suddenly everyone's theme for the year was flow, surrender, and that was perfect timing. And so sometimes we've got to have the patience to either educate our market or to wait for the right time. And I think the last thing I would say as an advice is create an opt-in product like you're doing now, something that is free to your market that they can come and join and it's high value. You're giving them tons of insights and support and they don't pay for anything. And that's how you create a community. And through that community, you can start to upsell into whatever else you have. And that can be a private community. It can be an ebook they can download, a newsletter that you send out, a podcast like you've done. There's so many ways to do it.
Thank you so much, Simone. Thank you so much. And that's overwhelming, actually, to listen to all of that, to listen to your years of wisdom and how you distill it so clearly for, sometimes, when you talk about the COVID, sometimes it's divine intervention,
Yes.
We need to trust the universe.
Yes, exactly, 100%.
And as business owners, we understand control, we understand, prediction, numbers, but then the universe comes with a grand plan, and COVID worked for you. For some people, it threw them off. Yeah.
Yes.
I sold off my terrariums business before COVID, and I was like, wow, I never saw this coming.
Yes.
And it was just so perfect timing for me that I had gotten into my research. So yeah, whatever happens, happens for the good. Thank you
and I
so
love
much.
that for you. Thank you, Dibs. Thanks. I just love spending time with you, and thank you for the opportunity to just share what I know. And of course, I'm still learning so much.
Yeah.
But,
You are an example of grit, grind, and lots and oodles of gratitude that you bring on the table for whatever the universe has to offer for, forward.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Dibs.
much. Thank you. If you liked this interview, please don't forget to subscribe by pressing the bell icon and follow us on our social media handles as we talk to more and more micro entrepreneurs who are living their dreams boldly.